Hi, I'm Charles Hargrove. I live in El Cerrito, California. Meatloaf, we had meatloaf when I was growing up, but it doesn't have any particular memory. The only thing I really remember about having meatloaf was that it used to have water chestnuts in it, and that's how I learned what water chestnuts were, because you'd come along and you'd find a little piece of water chestnut, and there was sort of a weird, crunchy texture. But then, when I was probably in high school, my mom decided that we should eat more healthily, and we switched to lentil loaf, which is not meatloaf and is not even remotely comparable to meatloaf, no matter what my mom might have said. And the only way to really get to that was to cover it in my dad's garlic aioli mayonnaise, and that made it palatable.
Hi, I'm Linda Hargrove, Charlie's mother, and we're in Austin, Texas. He grew up here. Meatloaf was a very important staple for my mother as I was growing up in our family, and I always used meatloaf cocaine from Joy of Cooking is the recipe I used, and then I went on a health food kick and decided to change over to lentils, which I think are delicious. And I also occasionally make a lentil loaf instead of ground beef meatloaf. My lentil meatloaf was not greeted with universal approbation, let us say. There were some raised eyebrows, and I do admit that with Jim's mayonnaise it goes down better.
I'm Jim Hargrove. I'm Charles's dad in Austin, Texas. And I can remember my mother making meatloaf. She bought this great big chest freezer when we were young and had it for the next 50 years. It never quit working. And she would go out and buy a hind quarter of beef and have it all cut up and put in the freezer so she could take things out of the freezer. And we always wound up with these rump roasts at the end. And rump roast is basically inedible. And we complained about it heartily. And so finally she started having the rump roast ground up, and she would use it to make meatloaf. And she would make this meatloaf with a tomato sauce on it, which was not much better. I don't think you could do much with rump roast, to tell you the truth. Anyway, I learned how to make this mayo in the food processor with lots of garlic in it. That was the secret, was you could put lots of garlic. I used about 6 cloves in there, and that mayo is famous with Charles's friends. Because you can put it on anything and it tastes good. Shoe leather would be good with that mayo, if you like garlic. And I do. Who doesn't like garlic? Everyone likes garlic.